PHP as the main languages. Then, so you have all the three languages in this. And second question could be a mixture. This is the first. And then when you go to the second question, Lavai, second question could be a mixture of some lessons. So here you have fill in the blanks from the e-commerce lesson in the 2020 paper, and then you have a Python question, and in this paper you have some about the they have asked you some questions about in networking here, and about the fetch execution cycle, and two services in cloud computing, which is in your first lessons, and the networking theory. It's mostly like a theory. In this paper, it could differ from paper to paper. And the third question centered around what? Operating system. Now there is like a chance that this operating system lesson could come to the part B, or the essay questions in the second paper, right? Part B of the second paper, essay questions, but it can change, right? And this is the fourth question. This is third question is from this, and fourth question is from OS, right? Right. This is how the 2020 paper was organized. Right? Okay. So Lamai, I think you have downloaded the paper, and when I am doing it in the board, I cannot share this screen share, but now we will look at the question first. I'm straightforward going to part B of 2020 paper. If you have a pen and paper, please take and do the questions with me. Right. Part A, structure. Answer all 4 questions on this paper itself. They don't provide you other papers to answer the question. You must answer the questions in the paper itself. The first question, draw the expected output of the following code segment when rendered in a web browser. Okay, so now look at the board. Let's see what is the code segment. Right? It's HTML. Then you have body. Tag is open. Then you have a table tag. These are called HTML tags, right? These are called HTML tags. I think you guys know it, right? Because we are doing a paper class. Here, I know there are some beginners here as well, but as I will expect some knowledge from you guys, right? Then you have TR. This is the table row tag, and then table heading. And they have given number /th /th. So this /th, then they have given type, th type, table header type. So they are given like this. So you can see the paper, right? So how can we draw a table? So this is a table structure, right? Table structure. This is how a table structure is represented in HTML. So this is one border table structure. So you can draw like this. You can draw a table like this, right? And they have given one border, which means you have to draw double line, right? How many rows have they given? They have given 3 rows. 3 rows. So if they have given 3 rows, we know we have 3 rows. We divide this table into 3 rows. Okay, ma'am? We divide this table into 3 rows. And the first row comes as number, the first heading. So this is heading, which means this should be board. Right? And then the second is type. This should be and then it's city. City, this should be both. That's why I do it double. Right? And then the second row comes as 1. Second row is 1. Then there's a high row span 2. Row span means, Lama, in row span, what happens? If you have 2 rows like this, it span into 1 row. In 2 row span, there is a HTML tag has this what you call row span. Row span. What does row span do? It combines 2 rows into 1. If it is col span, in col span, it combines 2 columns into 1. Right? So, yeah. That's the difference between row span and col span. So, here in row span, they have combined this into 1 and equals 2, which means I is here. I. Right? I, it should come in the middle and they have given goal. Goal comes here. Then they have given the second row, which is number 2. Number 2, Lamai. And what? There's a row span and never comes, the next thing never comes here and it goes to here, which is Jeff. Right? This is the answer for the first question. Question number 1, part A. Did you guys understand? If you understand, please give me at least a react, thumbs up, or raise an option or something. Okay. Only one person understood? What about others? Okay. Great. Then shall we go to the next one? That is part B. Part B. If we can complete this part A structured paper, we can go to the essay part today within today, and then yeah, we can continue. We see at least we can do the logic gate question. Right. Consider the following HTML code in which the lines are numbered. I will share. Consider the following HTML code in which the lines are numbered to answer the questions. In this part, HTML, this is HTML. The HTML program has started, not the HTML program, the HTML has started. Then head, there's a head. Inside the head, they have given a style tag. This is CSS, right? This is how we write. Like we have 3 types of CSS. We have external CSS, which we write in an external style sheet, external sheet. We have internal CSS. This is an example for internal CSS. And this is inline CSS, right? I'm planning to start revision from May. So if you join that class, we can discuss revision. But as this is a paper class, I need to complete all the papers. So I'm going fast. Right. And title tag. What are the colors of the text in line number 8 and 9 when the above code is rendered by the browser? What are the colors? Right. They ask in line 8. What is the color in line 8? Okay, this is line 8. There is a priority on CSS. right? In CSS, first we give priority for inline CSS. The first priority comes for what, Lamai? If you have inline CSS, the first priority comes for inline CSS. Inline CSS. Then normally we say priority comes like, then it comes for internal or external, but most probably it's internal or external. Some people say it's internal or external. So I say like, for easy remembrance, line, internal, then external, and then the default. Default. Right? So in this question, in the question they have given you in the paper, you see an inline CSS in line 8. So what activates? Is it this internal CSS? No, there's inline CSS. No. So this activate. Normally internal and external, they like either one of those. So the first is inline CSS. That is like the most frequent thing they test from you. And line 2, line 9, there is no internal CSS. You apply the external CSS. That means line 8 get the green color and line 2 gets what? The blue color. Okay? Yeah. So, please write this priority levels. If you have, just take down a note on this, and or a screenshot, and then we can go to the next one. The next one asks, write one advantage of defining styles as inline number 3, 4, and 5 over line number 8. Yeah, if you have any ideas, what are the advantages of internal? They are asking the advantages of internal CSS, inline CSS, which compared to internal CSS. Huh? What are the advantages of inline CSS in compared to internal CSS, right? So if you have any answers, please put in the chat so that I can see. We can do this as a discussion. No answer? Alamin? So shall I say that? So one advantage of inline CSS. Please answer when I tell you to answer, right? Please even look at your books and your notes and tell me. So we can be interactive, right? So one thing about inline CSS, advantage of inline CSS, it's easy to maintain. Because it's easy to make, because it's written in the code itself, right? So it's written like inside the HTML tag, the code, HTML tag. So if you want to change the color of this text, you just only need to change this. You don't need to go to the internal CSS or the external CSS and change. Direct access is possible. So that is one advantage. Another advantage is updates are easier. We can say it's like updates are easier. File size will be lower, right? So even if you use internal CSS, you have to write the whole code within the head tag as a style, describing it as a style. But in this context, you can write it in the inline CSS, right? So the file size becomes lower in that context. And code duplication could be reduced, right? Code duplication could be reduced. And this is like clear structure because you know what's the color of this, what are the characteristics of this text. So it's clear, perfect to think. You can even think those and write. Those are some advantages. If I write them in the board, we can say updates are easier. File size becomes low. And we can say direct access. Direct access. Or easy to maintain. You can say easy to maintain. Updates are easier, same thing. Easy to maintain. And clear or clean code. Okay? Yeah. Those are like 5 advantages of internal CSS when compared to inline CSS. So now if you can, please tell me just think and tell me some advantages of inline CSS with compared to internal CSS. If they ask you a question like that, what would be your answer? Hmm? Can you think, Laman? Put it in the chat. Hmm? In inline CSS, you can write all these styles, not like in separate places like inline CSS. In internal CSS, you can write it in the style tag, in the header. So that is one basic advantage. So everything is in one place. So if the developer want to change the styles, the CSS of the HTML file, then he only need to access the the style part, and he don't need to go searching on the other things, right? So that is an advantage, and that makes the code efficient, right? Okay, you can just think and write. Right. What is the next question they are asking? They are asking, write only the content in external CSS to include the following. The style defined in line 8 and the CSS ID name appear defining the style in font. Okay. Let's read. Let's do this. Right. They are telling us to write an external CSS. To write a what? An external CSS. So the style defined in line 8. What is the style defined in line 8? This. How can we write? So H1, you should change the color into green. So this is inline CSS. How can we write it this in internal CSS? External CSS. How? It's like I haven't shared this. Yeah. Right? You have to write this in external CSS. So you can open H1. H1 in H1, you are writing an external CSS. So you have to open what? Curly brackets. Curly brackets. What are you changing the color? Colon, green or something, semicolon. This is how you write what? External CSS. This is how you write an external CSS. They are telling us to make the line 8 into an external CSS. Sorry. External CSS. So this is how you can write. Right? Okay. Then they are asking us to do what? They are asking us to a CSS ID name appear that define the style of to define the style of font as Arial. Font should be defined as Arial. Right. How can we do that? How can we do that? So you have to make a CSS ID. How can we make a CSS ID? ID in CSS, right? A CSS ID is defined hashtag the ID name, which is appear or something, right? ID. This is how you have to write the external CSS part. So in the tag itself, you have to define a H1 or something. You have to define ID equals appear, right? This is how you start, and you can refer that ID through hashtag appear, right? Okay. Appear, you have to change the font type, no? So how can you write? They are asking to change the font type, right? They're asking us to change the font style. Yeah. So how can you write the font style in CSS? Font family, semicolon. You change it to, you can write in a single line. Arial, right? Arial. Colon, semicolon. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. I think you got an understanding about this part. So we are done with the first question, part A and part B. Okay. Then we have part C. So the first part of the first question, part A, was on HTML. Part A was on HTML. You can see. This is HTML. Then part B, when you come to part B, we discuss about CSS. CSS. And then part C gathers around but the other thing, which is the PHP, right? PHP is a server-side language. PHP is a server-side language, right? In PHP, what they normally ask, even in this question, they have asked the PHP and the database connection. Yeah, the PHP and daily connection. What this is what they normally ask, right? Yeah. The following four PHP code blocks, which are labeled A, B, C, and D, are taken from a code interconnected to retrieve data from a database to display on the screen. However, the code blocks are not in the correct order. So, write the labels in the four code block in the correct order inside the four blanks of the following PHP script. So they are asking us to make this code block into a specific, the correct order. Right. If I write the code block, I will write the code block, the complete code block. And what you guys have to tell me is the main, what are the letters of that thing, right? So how can we start? This is starts like this. PHP. PHP. Right? You open and you have question mark and PHP. Right. This closes like this. Question mark and like this. Right. So the first thing is, first, in the first thing, we have to build this connection. In order to build this connection, how can I build this connection? The code to build this connection, I write new MySQLi. This is the code of building the connection, right? So the localhost plus the username. Say username. This is the localhost username. Okay. The username. Make it in username. Password. password, and the database. You have to write all these inside this, what we call the inverted commas, right? And semicolon. So after everything, you have to put a semicolon. So this is how, this is the basic function of building the connection. New MySQL line, you connect the local host, the username, the password, and the semicolon. Database name. And then this connection, I build the connection here and I assign it to a variable. I assign it to the variable called con. So in PHP, when you are making variables, you name it as $con, right? Dollar. You use the dollar sign, right? Then what I do is, what I need to do is I need to check if the connection is correctly established. Is this connection correctly established, right? So what I can make to see whether this connection is correctly established, what I can do is I can write a if clause. If the connection is established, you can continue. If not, you can't continue. So what I write is, if this connection, I assign it to the variable called $con. If this $con is, if there is a connection error, connect error, there is an error in this connection, what I say is, I say I say print this. Die means like pop it into the screen. Connection failed. Connection failed. Right? Connection failed. And dot. This is concatenation, which is combining. And I have to display the connection. Right? The error. If there is an error, error comes here. If there is an error, then error is catched by this, right? And I need to pop to the screen that the connection has failed, the message that the connection has failed, and also I pop the error, connection error, so that the developer can know. Okay, I think you understood. The connection is failed message and the connection error is popped out to the screen. Okay. Right? Okay. Right. And then, if the connection, so if it comes here and if the connection fails, okay, done. If the connection is correctly established, if the connection fails, it displays that there is a connection error and the connection error also. If the connection is clearly established, what happens? If the connection is clearly established, I can give an SQL query. If I say create a table or create, or I say select something. Normally we do this when the connection, we don't add this create commands. No, what we add is we should add a select command, because this normally happen in what? Forms. So database PHP connection is most important for HTML forms, web-based forms. So when the user insert his data into the form, so through this, it is only through this PHP and the database connection that the database get those details into it and the database can store it. Right? Now we are asking those data from the database, which means we are retrieving the data from the database. So we use these types of code for that purpose only. That's why this connection is established, to insert it into the database and also to retrieve. So normally what we do here, we don't do the create things, we only use the select commands, right? You have data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language. Yeah, those are in the database. Listen, right? So we can use a select command here. Select, I say select. Select, what is it? Something. Select some command. You just filled out that. I also assign this, I assign this into a variable. This command I can assign it to a variable. Okay, I assign it to a variable. And after the results gets, when the results, we need to take the results of this code now. So how can I get the results? So I take the connection. I run this code. First, this is the way I run this code. These are SQL, right? This is the format that I have to run this code. This query should be run in this connection, where this connection is established. This query, this specific query, the select query or something should be run, and the result of that, I say, it should be stored in the result variable. I think you understood, right? So this is the format the query is running, right? Query should run in this specific connection, and the result should be stored in the result variable, right? Okay. Then finally, what can I do? Finally, if this result, if there is a result, I don't know whether you guys can see. Shape, okay. Can you see it properly now? Or was it earlier? Well, if there is a result, then what happened? And then uh, result, the result should run with the result, if the result is more than the number of rows, if the result, if the number of rows, if the results number of rows is more than 0, if the results number of rows is more than 0, can you see it clearly? If you can see it clearly, please give me a react. Shape. Okay, if it is more than 0, while so we fetch, if this is more than 0, we fetch this results. We fetch, we can fetch these results, fetch the results that came. Fetch as so fetch these results, and we can make it into another variable. So while I don't have enough space in this whiteboard. That's the issue. And if we need, we can echo these results. I will write this them briefly. We can echo these results, and else echo becomes zero. Yeah, this is the structure. This is the main structure, right? These are exceptional things. So this is like the main structure of the PHP connection. So you can close this connection like this, right? This is the main structure of the HTML and the PHP connection. It's not the HTML, the database and the SQL and the PHP connection, right? Yeah. Okay. So by referring to this, can you like go through these codes, and can you like give me what is like the sequence, or what are the correct list, how this code number should be arranged, how this letter should be arranged? Can you put it in the chat? Finally, this connection should be closed. On should be, if the connection is established, if the work is done, you must close it. The connection should be closed. Right. Can you tell me how does the numbers match? Hmm? No one is answering the question. Why? Right? You can see whether first the connection should be established. That is D, right? D. And then we need to check whether there is error. That is B, DB. And then we can do is we can run the SQL query, which is A, and then C, which is you can select the rows, right? This is okay. Okay, right. Then let's go to the next part. If the above code block are in the correct order, what is the expected output if the product table has not the following has only the following values? Product item code name. In P1, following code item code. Okay, right. So you have to echo this as Ford, the product. So they have given the SQL query. See, they have given the SQL query to select the item code and the name from the product table, right? So then they have to echo it or print it on the screen like code, then the item code, an item, and the name, right? So that is the structure. Let me resume this. Right? So they have said here the item code is P1. So we need to echo as code colon the item code is P1. No, it's P1 because this comes here. It should be capital P1. It should the item code come here, no? P1, and there is a what? There is a this is concatenation symbol, and then there is a slash, right? Slash item. This is slash item name, which is They have given item. This is pen. Same as the second one. Second is also code. It's P2, P3 slash item. I think the item is book, right? Yeah. P3. Okay. So with that, I think we are done with the first question. Did everybody understand the first question? If there are any doubts, please let me know. If you understood, please also give me a thumbs up. If you didn't understand, if there are any doubts, please let me know. Nothing. Hmm? Okay, I think you understood. Then I will continue. You understood. Great. Then let's go to the next part. Next part is about Lavani. It's on e-commerce, right? In an emergency health problem where people have to stay at home for a long period, the shops within the area remains closed for regular business activities. Under such circumstances, the shop within the village or nearby town can help their community by practicing the business through e-commerce. So they are saying that they can help their community to practicing this new technology of doing the business by e-commerce. Consider the above scenario. Fill the blanks in the following statements with suitable phrases from the given list of phrases. So first is, in this emergency situation, shops flow the blank business model. In this emergency situation, shops flow the blank business model. What business model is this? They are asking about the business model. In this business model, what they are doing is they are having their physical shop. They have their physical shop while having their what? While having their online shop. What do we call this? We have click, brick and click, brick and brick. What is this? This is brick and click. While having their physical shop, if they have their online stores, that is brick and click. This is e-commerce lesson. Yeah. Then the second thing, shop must use. So earlier it was usually coming for this e-commerce and nutrients. Those two lessons were combined together and they were part of the what you call this essay questions. But after like 2022, it changed. The new voice question arise from 2022. So we don't know what would happen in your day. So then the next part, shops must use underscore, not underscore, the shop must use blank to allow customers to purchase more than one type of products in a single transaction. Shop must use blank to allow customers to purchase more than one type of product in a single transaction. What does the shop must use? Right? Even you go to a supermarket, if you have many items to purchase, your mother or father will tell you to get a card. So even in online shopping, if you have more than one item to purchase, you can get what? A shopping cart. So the answer is shopping cart. This is we can be. Right. Then your brick. Then you have like what are the types? Your brick, your click, brick and click. Right. The third question, the e-commerce site for each shop can implement plan to display their products to the customers. So what the e-commerce side of each shop can implement to display their products to the customers? What do you have to display? Even in supermarkets, they have shelves. Like that, what do you have in a e-commerce website? You have a, why it's a web catalog. So these are like completely katapadan lamai, completely katapadan lessons. The catalog, right? E web, not web product catalog. In e-commerce systems, you can use a web product catalog. Right. The next, for business owners who cannot use payment gateways through online funds receipts, and for the customers who do not have any online mode of payment can still use support through what? Cash on delivery. Cash on delivery. Then fifth one, blank is one of the best ways to reduce the overhead cost of delivery within the local areas such as lanes, streets, or housing schemes. Right? Overhead delivery, like when during the COVID time, all these pharmacies were purchasing masks, right? How were they purchasing? They were using group purchasing because to reduce the collision. If those suppliers were supplying for separate pharmacies, then there could be a collision and it cost a lot. So what were they doing? They were group purchasing masks. So to reduce the best way to reduce the overhead cost of delivery within local areas to reduce the overhead cost of delivery, like lane, streets, and housing schemes, you can use group purchasing. Right. So reduce the overhead cost of delivery. The local, the sixth question, the local shop owner can establish blank to serve their community better by enabling access to each shop's service through common portals. What is this common portal? The local shop, right? The local shop owner can establish underscore to serve their community better in enabling access to each shop service through a common portal. So a common portal or where so many shops get together, we call it as a a marketplace. So this is an online marketplace, a common place. So product is something, a common place, a marketplace is something it's like so many sellers come to that specific place and sell the goods. Same as you have that same in online, which is the online marketplace. Right. Okay. These are the answers. Easy. Okay. So then shall we move to the next question? Next one is on what? Python program. As this is a programming question, shall I give you exactly 5 minutes? You can have a break also in that 5 minutes. Exactly 5 minutes. Just try this programming question and yeah, try this one. It's 9 now, so 9:05. Yeah, is we start the class. So try this in 5 minutes. Okay, Ramesh, shall we start? Okay. Okay, yeah. Five, one, we have int x, 4x, int into absolute. Then L2, then this is another list. List number 2, int x. So in this case, we have something called, we get this list, we get inputs from user. What we do is we take it as x, we make it integer, we take it as x and we split it and put into L1. L1 is a list. Second also, we take inputs from user and put into list 2, right? So then you have an empty list which is called L3. L3. Then we have for I in L1, for J in L2. Yeah, I in L1 means the first element in L1, which means I should be equal to 0. First element in L1 and the first element in the list, you have indexes, right? So indexes start from 0. So the first element in L1 and the first element. First we check the first element. Then we check the second element. Like that, the iteration happen. Like first we check the first element. And if I equal means this is the assignment operator and this is the equal operator. Like those are two. Equal and I not in L3, then have L3 dot append. L3 got append kara. L3 dot sort it and print. First, what you must do is first you must take this to list. After taking these two lists, we must check the first. If we say tells L1 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one has 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, right? So the first element 1 comes here, and the first element in L2 we say 2 comes here, and we check whether I, which is 1, is it equal to J, which is 2 elements in is 2. And there's an statement and say whether with the I, yeah, with the I means the element in the first list, L1, whether it is not in L3, whether it is in L3 or whether it's not in L3, then you must append it to L3. L3, append means add it to L3 to the back, right? Append means you are adding it into the back, right? The end, right? So, this is the code, right? Now, let's go through our question. Write the output of the program if the first input is 7, 4. 7, 4, 1, 2, 2, 8. And second is 8, 2, 4, 5, 6. L1 is 7, 4, 1, 2, 2, 8. L2 is 8, 2, 4, 5, 6. 8. Okay. So first 7 comes here. 7. Now I is 7. I will use that way. Now, here the I is 7. And this is, imagine this is 7. And this is 8. We check whether 7 equals 8. No. And whether, so we don't go these conditions. So stop. Then we increase this by 1. We say 7. No, 7 we increase it by 1, which is 2. The second day. We check whether 7 is equal to 2. No. Then we increase it by other element, which is 4. 4. Is it equal? No. Then, so it fails from here. Then 5. No. 6. No. Then we change the first element. We change the first element, which is 7. The 7 becomes 4. Now, here it's 4. We check whether 9. Then again 8 comes here. We check whether 4 is equal to 8. No. Then we go to the second. Right? Whether 4 is equal to 2. No. Then we go to the third one. And now 4 is equal to 4. Then what happens? 4 is equal to 4. And then we go to this clause also. Is I, which is 4, in L3? No, right? So we add. If I take the L3 list here, we add 4 to L3. Then we check with 5. 5 is not equal. 6 not equal. Then we change this into 1. 1. Then again 8 comes. No. 2, 4, 5, 6. No. Then we change it into 2. 8 comes. No. Then 8 is not there. Then we check 2. It's 2 here. Then we check with 2. 2 is equal to 2. And is I, which is 2 in L3? No. Then we add. Right? Then again 4 is not equal to 2. 5 is not equal to 2. 6 is not equal to 2. And then we go to the next 2. Next 2 is, then the next 2 comes in. Even though it's this. This comes, then this comes. Then we check whether 2 is equal to 8. No. Then 2 is equal to 2. And we check whether I not in L3. 2 is equal to 2, right? Whether I is not in L3. Whether 2 is not in L3. No, 2 is there in L3. So do we add? Okay. We don't do that. Right? Then we go to the 4, 5, 6. And doesn't match. Then we go to 8. 8. Then when 8 comes, 8 also come here. Then 8 equal to 8. And is 8. I is in L3, which is 8 is in L3. No. So we, okay. Right? So this is the output. Finally, we have to sort. What is sort? What is sort, Lemon? From what? We have to change it from in the ascending order, which means from the lowest to the highest. So we do for it. So the output, what are they asking from us? They are asking from us. Write the output of the program in the first input that creates 741. So they are asking the output when it's sort. Don't write this answer. This is wrong. This is not the sorted one. Sorted. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then what is the purpose of this program? Can anyone tell me what is the purpose of this program? But we take the similars of these two list. What we are checking, what are the similar numbers, similar integers in these two lists? What are the similar the purpose of this algorithm is to check the similars in these two lists and only to give it once. No repetitions happen because if I is in, it happens to 2, right? If I is in the list L3, it never open again. So you check the similar integers or the similar numbers in L1 and L2. That is the purpose of this algorithm, right? Given to inputs list integers L1 and L2, outputs are sorted. We output what? A sorted list of unique integers are present in both the L and L. We output a sorted list of unique integers. This is the L. Okay. I think you got an idea, right? Is everyone, we have done question number, until question number 2 now. Is everyone clear up to this point? Malaman, please at least give a thumbs up. Okay. Then shall we move to question number 3? State 2 services. The first question is state 2 services models in cloud computing. What are the 3 service models in cloud computing? There are 3 main service models: software as a service, platform as a service, is a SaaS, PaaS, and you say what? Software as a service, infrastructure as a service. The IaaS. These are the 3 service models in cloud computing. And okay, I think you know this. These are easy things. You learn it in all levels if you have done all levels. Software as a service, double AS, platform as a service, AAS, and infrastructure as a service, AAS. Then they're asking us to what are the 3 steps of a fetch execution cycle? Fetch, decode, execute. Fetch means you are input or you are giving it into the program. Decode, then you decode it, and then these 3 should happen in line. In line means after one another, right? Fetch the instruction, first you fetch the instruction, then decode the instruction, and after that only you execute those instructions. Right? Okay. Then what is the next question? Is really the third one. Okay, then you have to match the given sentences 1 to 4 relating to. I can share one. Match the given sentences 1 to 4 relating to the computer network theory in the most of the suitable items on the list. The first one is a simple and query-based communication model with minimum use of protocol mechanisms applied in the transport layer. Applied in the transport layer, a simple one. Transport layer has 2 protocols. Transport layer has protocols, 2 protocols, which is the TCP and the UDP. So TCP is connection oriented. It's hard. It guarantees. But this is asking about a simple one, which is UDP. It's not guarantees, but it's efficient than TCP. So TCP needs acknowledgement, but UDP doesn't need that. So UDP is the simple model. used to protocol mechanism applied in the transport layer. Right. A protocol of data communication in the World Wide Web. What is that? You know, it's very easy. HTTP. Oh, what is the secured version of that? HTTP is right. Okay. The protocol that defines the addressing and routing structure used in the TCP/IP protocol suite in TCP/IP model. The layer that defines the addressing and the routing structure. Layer that defines the addressing and the routing structure, but in the OSI layer model, routing layer network layer. What we call it in the TCP/IP model, we call it the internet layer. That is the difference. If you write network layer here, no, they have not given that choice also. So in TCP/IP model, where routing happens, is the internet layer. In OSI model, it's the network layer. The process of attempting to get sensitive information from someone by pretending a trustworthy person. What? That is phishing attack. Pretending a trustworthy person. This normally comes from banks, right? So they like pretend to you as a trustworthy person, right? Like the bank sending an email to you asking you the username and the password of your account. So yeah, those are phishing emails, phishing attacks. They are pretending to you as a trustworthy person, but they are the ones, right? The connection that allows the data transmission at much greater speed and capacity than the narrow service. So a connection that allows data transmission at a much greater speed and capacity than a narrow band service. What is that? Narrow band එකට වැඩිය. What is the connection which gives you a fast service? You have DSL and ADSL connections, right? So ADSL gives a fast service, right? Okay. So when we are doing the network in the revision, we can talk about them in great details, but now we don't have much time. That's why I'm going fast. The objective of this class is to complete the paper, not to also to revise, plus doing as much as papers as we can do. So it's better if you can yeah. I will try to upload. I can upload the paper like 2 days before the class, so it's better if you can. Okay, I will upload the paper 1 week before the class. So now you know to like next week we are doing 2020 the essay paper, right? So you can 1 week before the next class I am uploading the paper. So you have 7 days to complete the paper and come. So do the paper and come. If you really want, like you can send me answers so that I can check with those answers and we can discuss your errors in the class. So, yeah, let's continue the class like that. Okay. So shall we move to the next question? So the next question is on operating systems. Right. It's a story. An operating system uses a process control block. Okay. To maintain important information about each process. Okay. There's a process control block. So operating system use those process control blocks to store information about each process happening in the operating system. Read the following scenario and answer the given question. Here, started a spreadsheet program on a single processor computer and use the budget.excel file that he saved the day before. Okay. See, restart a process on a single processor computer and use the budget.excel program Excel file that he has saved the previous day. Previous day he has saved this file. So he start a program now. Right? He also is running a web browser. He also is running a web browser that he used to check his emails. At a particular time, the operating system changed the process state field in PCP of the spreadsheet from running to block. Give one likely reason that for that transition. So that operating system has that. Can you remember what? We have operating system has several stages, right? So in this context, it has changed from what? Running. We have start, we have block, you have terminate. Those stages in this thing, it has come from waiting, running to block stage, right? Running to block stage. It has changed. So in this context, how can it come from running to block stage? If he in the stage where he want to he has started a spreadsheet program now. Here from running stage he blocked. So imagine a state where he was typing in the spreadsheet and suddenly he want to read the spreadsheet. In that situation, it was in the running stage where the PL was typing on spreadsheet, and then it changed into a reading stage, which means block, right? So no process happened when he is only reading. He is doing the process of reading. So then from typing to reading, from typing to reading, so he changed his process from typing. If he changed his process from typing, he was typing, then there is a process happening in the OS. But when he changed it to reading, no process happening in the OS. The PL is only doing the process. So in that context, what happened is like it's changed from running state to the block state. That's what. That is what. And where we want to imagine, like he want to run into block, no? He want to write to another file, or he is searching on the web. Suddenly he want to access the spreadsheet. So this searching on the web stops. So that is also running, then it blocks. Right? Or he was searching an email or something, and then he found that email, and now he is only reading. So that changed from running to block. You can give the situation, right? Yeah. Okay, then when the state of the program changes from running to ready, the value of the machine register are stored in the PCP of the processor. Why it is important to store? So value of the machine register is stored. Why is it important to store this value? So why it is important to store this place where the process starts when it was running and then it changes to the ready stage. Ready stage. Running and it changes to the ready stage. Ready, which means it can be used again. So why do we need to store then? Why do we need to store the details? One reason we need to store the details is we can know the place which the program stopped, know the place which the program stopped, and start from the specific point. Right? So we can know the place where the program stopped when it was running, when it changed from running to the ready stage, and we can start from that specific point it stopped. Right? Okay. Right. Then you have the block size. Then you have the next question. I'm going somewhat fast because we have only this time. Right? Okay. The block size of the disk is 4 KB. Okay, we have a 4 KB block. I will draw this. 303, 300, 304, and minus 1. We have 300 here, 301, 302, 303, and 304. So, a portion of a file allocation table stating that starting from block 300 of at a particular time is shown below. It gives the block for maximum.py file as well. The last block of the file is indicated as -1. Last block is indicated as what? -1. This is the last block. Write down the value of an important number that will be stored on the direct entry of maximum.py in the file that will help to operate and locate the file, which means they are asking us to write the first address. What is the address of the first block? This is the address. They are asking us to write the address of the first block. That they are not directly telling us to write the address of the first block. See how they are telling this. They are telling this like write down the value of the important number that will be stored in the directory entry of maximum.py, a file that will help an operating system to locate the block in that file. The operating system to locate the block in that file. Right? So this is the last block. It's the last block. Then the address of that block is 304. 304. So last block is -1. Then the address address of the -1 is 304. So there should be a link in when you are accessing. There should be a link now. So 304. Where is 304 stored? Here. So address of that is 303. So 304 is the. I will write the block here, and the address here is 304, and this address is 303. So in order to access this, there should be a place that 303 is stored. 303 is stored. In 300, which means 303 is the one before that. It's stored in 300 block. The address is 300. So 300 is stored in here. 300. But where does it is stored? 301. We say 4 KB, right? 4 KB is the file size. So is there a place that 301 has stored? No. So it must be stored in the what? In the directory entry. This is the, which means this is the first block. This specific block is the first block, and the address of the specific block is 300. I think you understood. Easy, right? So this is the last one. Last one is address is this. Where is it stored? Here. This is stored. This one's address is this, and it's stored here. This one address is this, and this over here. Where is this stored? So this should be a first block, and this is a 4 KB file. Yeah. Okay. Then the last question of the paper. Assume that additional improvements are made to the maximum.py file that results in its size becoming 20 KB. What changes are needed in that fact for this purpose? Right. Assume the additional improvements are made to a maximum.py file that result in its size becoming 20 KB. So result should be assume the additional improvements are made for the maximum.py file that results in its size become 20 KB. What changes are needed in the fact for this purpose? 20 KB. So one block is 4 KB. So which means all these 4 blocks are 4 into 4. No? There are 4 blocks which is 16 KB. So 20 KB means another 4 KB should be added. Which means another block should be added. What is the only available block? 302. So 302 anything. So 302 could be allocated. So how can we allocate? So we can allocate this like we need to add it to the last position. We can make 302, it comes as here, and no, 302 has minus 1. So first is 300, 303. 303 has, no, first is 301, 300, 303, 304. Or before 304, we can allocate 303, we can allocate 302. Here we can allocate 303. Then 304, and then minus 1. That's one thing. So only block is available is 304. If we need to increase this by another 4 kb means this is 16 kb already because the block is 4 kb. So if you need to improve it by another 4 kb means you can plus 4 kb. Okay. So that we are done with the paper. Right? Okay. Then we will finish the class for today and let's meet on 15th. 15th we have classes from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will be discussing the essay part. Okay, thank you. Good night.